Hey team, what's happening? I want to give you a quick overview on exactly how to go about the process of creating your podcast. You have seen this before, but I want to do it once over so you can reference this as you continue to compile it. I've been really impressed by the fact that you all obviously want to make video content as well, which is important and it's wonderful. And it's the kind of thing that shows the difference between your generation and my generation. Because when we think podcast, we think audio first, and you guys think video first. And that's brilliant. But I want to make sure that you are able to edit audio because that's what you're being marked on. Obviously, if it's hosted on YouTube, I'm fine with that. But I would like to make sure that my bases are covered so you are fully instructed on how to make a podcast using all the tools necessary. Right. I'm going to find out how to share my screen with you, and that is entire screen. This should work. Okay, you guys have my screen with you. All right, so this is a program that's free from the internet called Audacity, right? Allow for 1 month. Sorry. Um, yeah. This program is called Audacity, and it's the one I recommend using the best. If you want to use Logic or Fruity Loops or whatever it is, please feel free to do that. If you want to download it, it's a completely free software, Audacity download. You can search it like this, right? I think you'll have it. You can download for Windows there, or if you have a Mac system, that's it there. Which is a brilliant software. It takes a second to load. It's pretty small as a file. And this is what an overview looks like. My version of it is obviously iOS, which is not as easy to use, for example, as the MacBook, I mean the Windows one would be. The first setting I want you to be aware of is an important one, which allows you to record directly into your computer. So whatever plays outside of your computer will be recorded onto your computer sound card. And to get that right on a Mac is a harder system. If you have a Mac, please reach out to me because it's a whole complicated process. But if you have a Windows computer, it's really, really easy. Um, you can Google this and it'll help make it easy for you, but this is what your screen will look like if you have a Windows system and you're using Audacity, right? Okay, this is what the picture looks like. Um, if you look at my mouses, it says MME, right? Which is a recording tool. Forget about that. Click on it and go to Wasapi. Okay. Click on Wasapi and then click on this one over here, and there'll be an option that says Loopback. Click on that. So activate Wasapi, activate Loopback, and it will allow you to record whatever plays out of your computer. So if you want to record music or instrumentals or whatever it is, it will record it directly into your sound card from there, which is a great tool to have. Okay. And then if you want some more specific instructions, please just Google this, record into Audacity from computer, and that will tell you what you need to know. All right, so that's a nice, easy way of going about that business. Now, what I want to show you is how this app kind of works, right? So you'll record your podcast audio. If, for example, we were to do it now, you would go like this. And whatever plays out of this will be my podcast audio. So here I'm talking, and you'll see this is the waveform of what I'm saying, and this will form part of the podcast's audio. Suppose this was my whole episode, and it went on for the 10 minutes that's required of you, right? That's what it looks like. You can do a couple of things to improve the audio quality. I'd like you to obviously make it a bit louder, which is a tool via Normalize. You can Google the guide on how to use Audacity, or you are all trained as sound engineers from your courses at Boston. So I'd expect you could be able to bump up the levels here. You would go like this, and whatever plays out of this will be my podcast audio. So here I'm talking. Okay, so that's what it sounds like, right? That'll be your track of your conversation. If you don't like something, there's no reason that you can't go like this and cut it out. It would involve highlight, and you would say cut, and it would go away. If you want to undo it, you would then just press Control Z or Control Z, and it will put it back in place. That's what the general waveform looks like. Then obviously you want to add some music to it, right? You want to add some like pizzazz and jazz and all that good stuff. And here's how you would do that on this particular system. You would search for royalty-free music, right? And because this is for the sake of class, we are not necessarily following all the rules here. It's just for the sake of your download. And you would obviously do some research to find out which one works for you. Maybe it's Free Music Archive. Um, let's have a look here. And you would maybe have a search for if it's a, I don't know, relationship podcast, love or R&B, the R&B in R&B, and we'll have a listen to it and see how it sounds when it starts. Be some nice intro music. Now this is royalty free, so in this particular instance, you could then record. Sorry, let me just see what this is. I'm trying to see if it's recording the audio that we've just heard out loud. It might have been. Let's hope it did. Um, you'll then record it directly into Audacity. In this particular instance, you'll press record, it will record it into the track, and you'll then have access to that audio. So we can't do it on the Mac right now, but here's a bed over here, right? I think it's Dua Lipa's Dance Tonight. This is what the audio would look like once you recorded it into your Audacity track. You would then be able to normalize the volume to being quite low. I normally go to about 15. It's normally quite a good level. And you would then hear yourself paired up with the bed music, right? You would go like this. Whatever plays out of this will be my podcast audio. So here I'm talking, and you'll see this is the waveform of what I'm saying, and this will form part of the podcast's audio. You can edit it so it works for you. So, for example, if I wanted this bump over here, I could very easily just cut it and then move it around, drag it around. Costs audio. Suppose this was my whole episode. And you would then find a way to make it work for yourself. You can add as many tracks as you like. There's no specific requirements here, but you can add as much as little as you like. I think the best case scenario is if you make a nice intro with some bed music, and then when you're actually doing your podcast conversation, it's dry. That meaning no bed music in it. I don't think beds work well for extended periods on podcasts. You can either do this live. I mean, probably not because you don't have access to a desk. But you can change the beds as often as you like. You can find ways to kind of string the beds together. You can do no beds if you don't want any beds. That's certainly cool. If you want to add some effects, for example, there's lots of AI options on the internet to add voices. 11 Labs is a great one. You can record that if you are interested in doing it. You could say, let's say, welcome to the Heartbreaker podcast with Tabitha Latuli. And you could then choose a voice you wanted. Suppose you like the sound of Matilda, I don't know. And you wanted Tamil accent. And you press play, right?
Welcome to the Heartbreaker podcast with Tabitha Luthuli.
That's Heartbreaker wrong. Heartbreaker.
Welcome to the Heartbreaker podcast with Tabitha Luthuli.
Okay, so that would be an option for you. It could sound pretty dope. That could be a nice intro. So you could download that, you record it directly into Audacity. It might appear here. It can be used as the intro for the bed itself or the podcast itself, and that adds a bit more texture and a bit more currency and all that good stuff. If you want to, out of the real world around you, it's always recommended that you pull in audio from other sources. So, for example, if you want to add a feature during your podcast about asking people on the streets about their feelings about relationships, please feel free to do so. Use your phone recorder, use it in the dedicated recorder app, and then you can import it directly into Audacity from here. You can drag it directly in and you can edit it. So, for example, if I go into my archive, I can pull that in, right? And that would be a recording from my phone, whatever that is. I don't even know what it is in real life, but I could then take this audio from the street and I could then, if I wanted to, paste it in there, or another track, drop it in there, right? And then I could adjust this audio file as I see fit so it can, be happily incorporated into the overall track. Once I've done all this, and we've gone through this in class before, but please make sure you export the audio, right? File, export, name it as something, podcast, example, episode 1. Yeah, happy. Okay, then it's really important that you take that exported audio and you put it onto SoundCloud for me. so I can find it. Which you all have SoundCloud accounts. We're doing this since first year, so it shouldn't be a problem. You would do your upload process, and you would fill in all the details. There'll be an option, load image, and I want you to make an image for me so it looks nice. It looks really, really professional. This is your final product, so please do it properly. You guys use Canva a ton. Please use Canva, and then you're searching your templates for a nice podcast one, and you will be able to search for that. And then you guys have the skills to edit one of these so it looks great. Maybe you want to do that one, customize it. Podcast show, music band, Heartbreaker. With Tabitha Tuli. Could look like that. You could download that and use it as your cover art. Make sure when you do download it, you're downloading off the highest possible quality. I want it all the way to the end. So I can't do it right now, but you guys can. Download all the way at the end over here. So it looks really, really, really special when you put it onto the internet. And you then will have a fully formed podcast. If you want to put it on Apple, for example, which you're welcome to do, there'll be an RSS feed. It's called RSS feed. There'll be an RSS feed generated by SoundCloud. You can use the RSS feed and plug it into Apple's podcast platform after making an Apple ID, and that will then directly, once processing, upload onto Apple Podcast. You could have that forever to share with people. Same as Spotify, same process. The key thing is the RSS feed. Okay, just look for that. You'll find it, and that's an easy upload process. And that should be it. So obviously from now on, you can talk about promotion, all that good stuff. We'll look at that. But in terms of creating the actual podcast itself, I really feel like this is all that you need to successfully create a strong audio file. That's all that I think is required of you at this point. That's what I'd like to see you do. How do I go back into me without sharing my screen? Zoom. I haven't used Zoom for a while. Neither of you, I don't think. There I am. Okay. Yeah. So, sorry guys, I feel like a boomer. Surely should say stop sharing. Whatever. That should pretty much be all that you need to successfully pull this thing off in terms of recording and editing. If you have specific questions, please get them to me ASAP, and I can help you with the editing process. Google's also a great tool to use. Like, please feel free to learn this process on your own. I mean, I've certainly, everyone in radio who has gotten anywhere has done so because they've had to learn themselves, and all the resources are available. Again, in the same way, there's many ways to get from Overport to Ballito. There's many ways to do this process, right? You can use Anchor, you can use any of the podcasting apps that work for you. FL Studio, whatever it is, I don't really mind. As long as it sounds good, that's all I really care about. And historically, I haven't ever marked in a disadvantaged way if your quality isn't where it needs to be. But in this instance, I'm going to be kind of harsh on you if you're not putting in at least a bare minimum of production value, because I've all watched you work before. I've heard you guys produce audio. You're good. You got a fairly good technical command, and your criticisms of other people are justified and skilled. So I'd like to see you producing the same level of quality on your work. Right. Okay. Thank you, folks. And we'll chat to you soon.